Hi, good afternoon. My name's Neil, and I'm here today to talk about the Crystal Maze. I run the online Crystal Maze fan blog, and I wanted to make this video to clarify some things. So you may have seen in the news the past month or two that it was reported that the Crystal Maze revival was axed by Channel 4. Now, I've made this video because I know quite a bit about this, and I just wanted to explain the current situation. So what happened was I was on holiday back in July, early July, and I noticed someone commented on one of my blog posts on the Crystal Maze fan blog because they'd seen I've been collecting various props from the show over the years. I've got props from the original series of the Crystal Maze and the new one. And the person that messaged me obviously knew I was a big fan of the show and said to me, would I like some more props? I said, okay, go on then. So I was down in Cornwall at the time, and he sent me this message, oh, I've got this, I've got this, I've got this, I've got this. And I was starting to worry a bit, and I was thinking, hang on a minute, how come he's got all this Maze stuff? Surely this something's not right here. So my fear was that the Crystal Maze had actually been axed by Channel 4. To be honest, quite a few of us were expecting this because obviously with COVID, the last series was filmed back in 2019. It was the American edition, straight after the UK ones. And since then, we've heard nothing else. And the studio in Bristol's just been sat there for a year empty, doing nothing, which obviously costs a lot of money for Channel 4. The studio is massive. It's 32,500 square feet. And you can't just have a Crystal Maze set that's that big, just sat empty doing nothing. And obviously with COVID, it's very difficult to make such a programme. You can't social distance in the Crystal Dome, for example. Do you know what I mean? So I can understand why it would have been difficult for them to keep the show, because it's a very expensive program to make and the set is massive. And I've been there myself. So I went there in 2018 and 2019. I worked as a game tester, and I helped to test all the games for the Crystal Maze, both the two series. So I'm really fortunate that I was able to go there and play the games and see the games and test them, and work with the producers. And I met James Dillon, who designed the original series set and the new one. So it was a really great time. It was my childhood dream come true to be there and work on it and stuff. It was great. So I'm really privileged to have actually gone into the real Crystal Maze. Not many people can do that. I mean, not only once but twice. It was amazing. Working behind the scenes and stuff. It was excellent. So yeah, got some really good memories from that. Saw both the medieval zone as well, and a year later the Eastern zone. All the sets were fantastic. The games were brilliant. It was so much work went into that program. Designing the games and testing them and getting contestants down, and making sure all health and safety is adhered to, and making sure you've got a medic following you around, and dietary requirements. So much thought went into that program. And the detail in the sets and the props was what fascinated me the most about the Crystal Maze. So basically I got offered some props, and then the alarm bells were ringing, and I actually said to him, look, has the Crystal Maze been axed? And he told me, yeah, unfortunately it has been. Channel 4 have told us we've got 2 weeks to empty the set in Bristol and get rid of everything. So I arranged he said to me I could go down to Bristol to the studio because he knew I'd worked on it. And I went down there, and it was quite sad to see, most of the zones were being knocked down around me. There was like 2 or 3 sort of carpenters there knocking down the set around me. All the walls were coming down. There was sand everywhere from the Aztec zone. There was pieces of games everywhere. Futuristic bits everywhere. It was crazy. So most of the zones were down at that point, but I still saw parts of Aztec zone, and half of the futuristic zone was still up as well when I was there in mid-July. And they told me at the time that they were going to keep half of the futuristic zone. So I was hopeful. I thought actually there might be a chance that the Crystal Maze will come back. I mean, even at the time, they kept the Crystal Dome to the last minute, and I thought maybe Channel 4 will keep the Crystal Dome as well, because there might be a chance it will come back again in the future. But unfortunately, I found out that even the Crystal Dome was skipped as well. So Channel 4, apparently they spent £20,000 on skips, and it was sad to see such a massive set go to waste. I saw piles and piles of pallets of wood from all the walls and all the zones, and there was like forklifts going in and out and chucking it all in the skips. it was such a massive waste of a massive iconic program. I mean, it's only been back a few years, and it shouldn't have been axed already. It should have stayed a bit longer at least. And I don't think Channel 4 have done it credit. I think they've shot themselves in the foot here, because they made too many celebrity editions, and they kept messing around with the scheduling as well. If they'd have not done those two things, and maybe experimented with maybe a new presenter as well, and maybe even another new zone, you know, Ocean Zone or something, then the Crystal Maze would have still been popular. But because they kept messing around with celebrity editions, that's what kind of affected the viewing figures in the end. So yeah, they shot themselves in the foot, and then obviously they moved it to E4 as well. So they set it up to fail basically, and that's what's so frustrating, because the Crystal Maze revival was going quite well, and I really loved the games and I thought it was good. I mean, obviously nothing's going to be as good as the original, but I still quite like the new one. And I just feel that they axed it too soon, and there was still more mileage in the show. They could have done so much more with it. So it's a massive shame that they've done that, but that's Channel 4's fault now at the end of the day. So, you know, they've axed their most iconic show of all time, which I think is an absolute joke. They've spent a lot of money on that set, and they just skipped the whole lot. So it's a massive shame. So yeah, I went there and I saw it all. Because I run the fan blog, I was able to take some bits, and I've kept some bits, you know, for storage and stuff, you know, and for memories as well for me, obviously, because I helped on the show. But it was weird, because when I was there, I was excited to be there, but I was sad as well, because it was like all my childhood dreams, you know, seeing the Crystal Maze collapsing around me. You know, it was strange. And then, you know, 2 years ago, there I was in normal times helping test all the games and stuff and running around all the zones. So it was a weird contrast, you know, and it was sad to see it like that, you know. So much effort went into that show. But I'm hoping it's not the end. I'm hoping that Channel 4 or another channel pick it up and bring it back again, because there's still so much more they can do with the Crystal Maze, and it's still very popular. I mean, lockdown has shown that, you know, escape rooms and things like that are still popular more than ever. So I think they got rid of it at the wrong time, and I think that they messed around with it too much, and they set it up to fail. So yeah, so basically I was down there in Bristol. I took loads of pictures of the set getting knocked down and stuff, which I'll show you. And I was told to keep it quiet and not tell anyone, not put it on social media, nothing. Which is what I did. I kept that promise. But then about 6 weeks later, it was finally leaked on a couple of news websites, The Mirror and things like that, saying Crystal Maze axed by Channel 4 after 90s hit show was revived with Richard Uwardi. It says Crystal Maze has reportedly been axed by Channel 4 despite being revived in 2016 with Stephen Merchant and then Richard Uwardi. Bosses at Channel 4 are said to have pulled the plug after weeks of discussions. An insider said the Crystal Maze is being ditched. Executives have no plans to make a new series. It is an iconic show, but no series is guaranteed to run indefinitely. The pandemic has meant some tough decisions have had to be made. Channel 4 has the option to bring it back in the future, but right now that's not looking likely anytime soon. And then it just goes on about the history of when it come back. So, I mean, if Channel 4 were that keen on bringing it back in the future, they wouldn't have skipped the Crystal Dome and skipped most of the set. You know, there were certain bits that were like marked up to be saved, but they only kept about, I'd say, about 1% of it. You know, they kept the Crystal Dome table and, you know, little key things like that, but they skipped the whole Crystal Dome. They skipped most of the zones. It was an absolute waste. It really was sad to see. Channel 4 have treated their most iconic show with complete contempt. You know, and they've not thought about all the fans and stuff. They just hoped it would have died quietly. So it's a massive shame that they've treated the Crystal Maze in this way. And I hope that they can maybe bring it back again in the future when the pandemic subsides. So yeah, anyway, I'm really pleased that I was able to work on it, on the show, but also in a weird way, I was glad to be there at the end and see it all for the last time and be one of the last people inside the real Crystal Maze, you know. But I just hope it can come back again. It's really frustrating, and I feel sorry for all the people that worked on the show, and they put all their hard work into designing those sets and the props and things. The detail was amazing. So yeah, that's what happened basically. So yeah, we were told to keep quiet, and then it got leaked, and we haven't heard anything else. And this has affected a lot of people as well, like people in America who've been watching the new Crystal Maze series over there on Nickelodeon. They've also been baffled as to where the Crystal Maze has gone and why has it been scrapped and all the rest of it. I mean, surely they could have kept it going, because Nickelodeon could have made another series as well. So it's really strange that they've got rid of the set. I mean, obviously COVID has played a part, but you know, it's strange, and that Channel 4 have just sort of let it die like this. You know, their most iconic show. But anyway, I've been able to save loads of iconic bits of the show, like Aztec puzzle pieces, and I've got a clock from the industrial zone that still works. But that's from the real Crystal Maze. Aztec puzzle piece. Even got like industrial lighting from the set, which I'm going to try and get going again. I've even got like a flashing light as well. So I've got all that stuff. I've got whole boxes of props down here and in my garage that I've saved from the set. You know, I've got all this stuff. This is all from the medieval zone, like a nice plate and, you know, cups and goblets and things like that. Look at that. The jug. I've got like letter things on key rings. I've even got medieval books. Look. Even a stopwatch that the producers used for the games. Yeah, so it's weird because I'm quite excited that, you know, I was able to help out on the show and, you know, but also be there at the end. And I'm really excited I've got all this stuff, but at the same time I didn't want the show to be axed either, so it's a really weird feeling, really, to be honest with you. It's quite strange. I've got more stuff in my cabinet there as well. But yeah, I've saved the futuristic table and the futuristic doors from the set as well. They were heavy. I've got them. I've got an Aztec door, and I've got all sorts of game pieces and game signs, but none of that's going to be for sale. I'm keeping that for the fan blog. So I've worked hard. So this clock's still going off. Yeah, I've worked hard to preserve a lot of the Crystal Maze for, you know, for all the fans. And yeah, I've even got, look at this, I've even got all the production stuff. The Crystal Maze Series 2 Games Tech Meeting. And it's got all the details about all the games and what the contestants need to do to win the crystal, and the rules behind the games, and the layout of the games, and what the contestants must do and not do. And it's really fascinating stuff. Like, this is why I love the Crystal Maze so much, is because, you know, the amount of detail and effort that went into the show. I don't think people realise. You know, and I tested a lot of these games. I tested a lot of them, and I've got pieces of these games as well. I've been able to save. Look, there's the plan for the maze in Industrial Zone. How cool is that? And then medieval, like the medieval games as well. So yeah, that's one of the books. I've got a lot more as well. I've got like Games Bible, more game plans. I've even got, you won't believe this, right? I've got the plan for the Crystal Maze set. I'll show you this. Look at that. There's the plan. That one's cut off there, and I've got like the filming schedules, more maze game sort of plans. There's a plan for the maze game. Crystal Maze, look. There's a plan for the door maze game. Shard of Light Medieval. Look, I was able to save the stained glass from that game. That's in my garage. Let's have a look. Here we are. There's a proper plan of the Crystal Maze set with all the games, and that is basically what the studio in Bristol looked like. So it was a bit disjointed compared to the original. So if you remember in the original, they had the crystal dome in the middle of the set, like they had on the map. But with this one, in the Bristol one, obviously they were limited on space, so they made the space more efficient, and they put a lot of the zones side by side, and had the illusion that the sets were still joined together, which I thought was quite a good idea, I suppose. But yeah, this is ingenious, really. And the original person who designed the Crystal Maze, James Dillon, designed the set for the new series. So that's why I really like this revival, because it was authentic, and James Dillon, the original guy, designed this. So it's a very intricate map, and I think it's brilliant. It really is, and I think all this work that went into it, it's just a shame to see it go to waste like this. Yeah, so I've got more Crystal Maze game plans and stuff here. All this stuff here is obviously not for sale. I'm keeping this for the fan blog, and I will keep it so that if the show does come back, I will give it back to the producers so they can work on bringing it back again. So I will keep that for safeguard. That's not going to be published online or nothing. That's strictly for the fan blog's eyes only. So yeah, I hope you like some of my maze stuff, and I just wanted to put you in the picture of where the Crystal Maze is at. So yeah, it has been axed, unfortunately. It won't be coming back again anytime soon. Like I said, Channel 4 have got the option to bring it back if they want to, but I can't see them doing it anytime soon because it's an expensive show to make. You've got COVID as well. But I really hope they do bring it back soon because it's their most iconic programme. And if they stop doing celebrity editions and they put normal people on it again, and they maybe get a new presenter, I think Darren Brown would be a really good presenter on it, to be honest. He'd be really good. And so yeah, get a new presenter, get a new zone, Ocean Zone or something again, and capture people's imagination again, because people want the Crystal Maze back, and we're all going to fight to get it back again. We're going to keep going on at Channel 4 and the production companies until they bring it back again, because it was axed too soon, and it shouldn't have just died quietly like this. Such an iconic programme. So yeah, we'll keep fighting and help us to keep the legacy of the show alive, but we won't give up. We will do whatever it takes to get this programme back. So yeah, thanks for watching, and keep supporting the Crystal Maze, keep following the fan blog. The fan blog's not going anywhere, and shortly after this video I'm going to show you some of the pictures I took of the set getting dismantled, and let's remember the Crystal Maze for what it was, and let's hope that it comes back again in the near to distant future. Thanks for watching. Sand is still here. Look, Aztec sand.